So I'm just going to give you a little bit of rundown on CrispinEurope because not too many people are familiar with them. So basically what we do is we have three main factories, right? That's what we call the places where the creatives live and where the work comes out of. We have Boulder, which is the mothership, the main mothership in the States. We have just recently reopened Miami again, and we have a creative director there, Ari Merkin, and he used to have an agency in New York called Toy, but now he's in the ship in Miami, and they're kind of growing that. And Ari's right wing man is actually Tony Kay, who used to be one of my students 3 years ago, so it's kind of nice to have him back there. So they're building up Miami, and then they just bought a small digital agency in Gothenburg called Daddy. And that acquisition and merger happened about a year ago. So Gothenburg, Miami, and Boulder are the three places where the creatives live. We also have satellite offices in Madrid and London and Germany and LA, and that's primarily for producers or clients or people that need to be a little bit stronger on the client side, but none of the creatives are in those cities. They're only in Gothenburg, Boulder, and Miami. So what's the difference between like CP+B worldwide and CP+B Europe? So in total, we have about 1,000 employees, we have 22 interns, 47 clients, and 27 agency dogs. In Europe, out of that breakdown, we currently are 72 people. We have 3 interns. We don't have any creative interns yet. We're starting that program this summer. We have 63 Swedes, 2 Brits, 1 Irishman, 1 Scotsman, 1 German, 1 Spaniard, 1 American, and 2 Canadians. And you can't bring your pets to work with you in Sweden, so we have 5 plastic dogs. So this is kind of like the mission statement of the Crispin brand in general. And it's to create the most talked about creative work on the planet. And it's the model that kind of like really brought CP+B to where it is today, because they really consider themselves a little bit more of a PR agency. And the reality is that like we don't do our job well unless we make our clients famous. So when Crispin started out, they needed to get their name on the map, and so they put all their works in the award shows and whatnot. But ultimately, it was always instilled in us, even when I was a young creative, that if you're not making our clients famous, then you're not doing your job. So that's kind of how we go in and we approach it. Like the first thing that I do when I get a brief is I visualize who the client is. Put that in your mind, like who is the client as a person? What do they look like? What do they dress like? Where do they hang out? It's kind of like a small little tip. And then ultimately, what's very special about them that will make them famous. It's great that I say that, but how do we do that? The one thing that we have control over is trying to be great right now. And that's Crispin's approach. Like the client comes to us and they need to sell pizzas. So we need to figure out how to sell pizzas right now. I mean, we can still think bigger branding ideas about like increasing online ordering or different ways that people can order, but like ultimately they need to sell pizzas, and they don't need to sell pizzas in like 2012, they need to sell pizzas like tomorrow. So it's very much kind of like knowing where your client is right now.